What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Shoe Care Academy. I'm Vick Almighty, and today we're going to be working on the 2024 Legend Blue 11s. Now, this is a beautiful sneaker. They killed it with this release, way better than the last one. The shape looks great. I like the cut of the patent leather. The best part, though, is this icy blue bottom, just like the original 96 Columbia 11s. Now, the problem with these 11s is, as soon as you start wearing them, the soles start to yellow. Today, I'm going to show you how to prevent that using our Rejuvenator sole shields. Let's preserve these sneakers. Now, to do this process, there's a few tools you'll need. Obviously, some sole shields. You'll also need some scissors, a pen, and a heat gun. Let's start by opening this up. One sole shield, two sole shields, and some alcohol prep pads to prep the soles. Now, the first thing you want to do this process correctly, you want to use alcohol prep pads to wipe down the soles. Yes, they're brand new, but there could be some oils that can mess with the adhesion of the sole shields. So luckily, our Rejuvenator sole shields do come with some prep pads. I'm going to give both of these soles a good wipe down. Now, if you're applying sole shields to a brand new pair of sneakers, the alcohol prep pads are plenty to make sure the surface is prepped. However, if you're applying sole shields to a pair you've worn a few times already, I definitely recommend cleaning the soles first with a brush and our Rejuvenator solutions, letting them dry completely, then using the alcohol prep pads to fully ensure the soles are prepped. In 1996, Michael Jordan wore the Columbia Air Jordan 11 in San Antonio during the All-Star Game. This would be the only time MJ wore the colorway, making a core memory for collectors. First released in 1996, the pair would release in 2001 as Jordan Brand continued its retro series. The colorway resurfaced in 2014 as Legend Blue instead of the original Columbia. A decade later, it seems that Jordan Brand got the Legend Blue retro right with the shape, a higher patent leather cut, and other small but essential details. Alright, so the soles are all prepped. I'm going to put one shoe to the side and focus on this one for now. For the sole shield, I'm gonna face the paper side up, grab the shoe, place it right over it. This is where the pen comes in handy. I'm gonna trace all around. The key is to not get any of the pen on the sole because sometimes it doesn't come off. For this step, I recommend making sure your shoe is as centered as possible before tracing it. You wanna leave yourself enough room on each side to make sure there's 100% full coverage for the sole. It doesn't have to be perfect. What really matters is the cut. On to the next one. Tracing is complete. Next step is some cutting. For this, I'm gonna cut right on the line. When you're ready to cut, make sure you take your time. Like I mentioned before, the cut is the most important part. You can also always cut a little outside your line to guarantee coverage, then trim it to fit later. Now I'm gonna peel the sole shield and apply it onto the sneaker. For this, you kind of only have one shot at it. What I like to do is have the sole facing up, and when it comes to the sole shield, start from the back and work my way to the front. Now, if you've never done this step before, don't worry about it too much. It's pretty easy, just take your time. Wrong shoe. That's better. Like I mentioned, as long as you start from one side first, like the back, and work your way to the front, you should have no issues when applying the sole shield. All right, that looks really good. The sole shield's covering up the entire sole, especially on the front and the back. Those are two areas on any sole that gets the most wear and tear. Now let's take care of the second one. Now, one thing most people don't know about our sole shields is that they do more than just protect your soles from yellowing or getting dirty. Our sole shields have built-in traction to maintain grip while also protecting your soles from heel drag. Sole shields are applied, but we're not done yet. In order to lock them into the soles, we need to use the heat gun for this process. We need a good amount of heat all over the sole in order for the sole shield to adhere nicely onto the sole. Now, you may think you could get away doing this step using a blow dryer. However, that tool is not going to work. It doesn't give off enough heat. For this process, I highly recommend using a heat gun. However, you still got to be very careful. You can cause separation or cause the midsole to warp, so you need to apply the heat directly onto the soles only. Let's start with one first. All right, after a couple of minutes of applying heat to the soles, what you want to do next is press down all around the edges and the surface of the soles, especially in all those little grooves. If it's too hot, you can use a towel for this step. Now, one session of heat is not going to be enough. There's a good chance you need to go back and forth at least 2 or 3 times. Feel free to wear some gloves during the heating process. My only recommendation is that you wear some well-fitted ones to allow you to shape the sole shields around the sole and press down in all the grooves. Alright, so the first one's done. This is a pretty straightforward process, especially on a Jordan 11. Really, the only thing you gotta watch out for is to not apply too much heat to the midsole, because that can warp. Other shoes to watch out for is shoes with air units. If you apply too much heat, you can bust those air units. On to the next. Sole shields are applied on both sneakers. Now there's one thing I gotta take care of still. A little bit in this area, tiny bit right here, and a ton on the carbon fiber. Honestly, I'd rather have this issue instead of not having enough sole shield to cover up the soles. Now if you don't mind this, you can leave it as is, but if it's bugging you, all you gotta do is grab a blade and simply slice it off. Just be careful not cut too deep, because that will cause unfixable damage. This goes back to what I mentioned during the cutting step. It's better to leave a little extra that you can trim off later. Also, every sole is different in shape, so depending on the sneaker, you're almost always gonna have some areas that you need to trim up. Just be careful not to cut too much and expose the sole. Alright guys, that's going to bring us to an end on how to successfully apply some Rejuvenator sole shields and how to protect your icy bottoms. This process is pretty straightforward. The biggest advice I can share with you guys is to take your time. If you take your time, there's no way you can mess up this process. I highly recommend applying sole shields to any shoe with icy bottoms. Even if they're used, give them a good cleaning and you can still apply them and protect them for future wear. I even recommend them on designer sneakers like red bottoms or any brand new sneaker. It doesn't have to have an icy bottom. White bottoms also get really dirty fast. That'll protect it from that. Another thing it's great for is to protect it from heel drag in the front or the back. Now it is the holiday season. Whether you buy yourself a pair or somebody else, you can buy some sole shields at rejuvenator.com. We currently have a deal where you can buy 5 sole shields for 75 bucks. That's a 50% off discount. This deal will end on December 31st, so go buy your sole shields now. Additionally, you can save 20% off the entire website using promo code LEGEND20. That's only good for the next 24 hours. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is Vick Almighty. I'll catch you guys next time. See you guys.